Right, so around 6 months ago, I dropped a video where we talked about all the juicy iPhone 15 rumors. We were going wild about the design, the USB-C port, and the potential eye-catching colors. But now, folks, the iPhone 15 is here, so let's cut to the chase and break it all down. The full video I made will be linked below in the description. First off, that notorious iPhone notch that's been around since the iPhone 10, well, it's finally gone, and in its place, we've got the dynamic island. It's not just for the fancy pro models anymore, it's on every iPhone now. So over the years, Apple's worked hard on reducing that notch and giving you more screen real estate, only to ultimately redesign the previously static design feature into a fill-shaped notch detached from the top of the display. But what really gives life to it is the UI, which makes it interactive and more functional. So if you've always wanted the extra functionality and potential for multitasking with which the iPhone 14 Pros were equipped, now you can enjoy that with the vanilla models as well. So if you were a notch hater, rejoice. But if you weren't exactly jumping for joy about the dynamic island, well, it is time to get used to it because it is here to stay. So what is your take on this? Are you team notch or team dynamic island? Sound off below. Now let's talk about the big news. The USB-C port, which is the new deal for charging and file transfers on all iPhones. Every iPhone gets USB-C. You get a USB-C. You get a USB-C. And you get a USB-C. Everyone gets a USB-C. This move is partly thanks, or mostly thanks, to the European Union's plan to standardize chargers by late 2024, which is all about reducing electronic waste and making our lives simpler. Sure, if you've got a lot of Lightning accessories, you might not be that thrilled right now. Still, in the long run, it is going to mean carrying around just one charger and one cable for all your devices. Imagine that. So we've been hearing about the USB-C coming to iPhones for a while, so it is kind of surprising to see everyone making such a fuss right now. But what we've also been wondering about is data transfer speeds. So as predicted, the basic model is rolling with USB 2.0, which is about as fast as the old Lightning ports, whereas the Pro models will get you USB 3 speeds. But here's the catch. You'll need a specific cable that Apple isn't throwing in the box. So if you want those extra fast transfer speeds up to 10 gigabits per second, be prepared to shell out for an extra cable and maybe add that to the growing pile of old tech. Moving on to the phone's looks. The Pro models made a switch from stainless steel to titanium and say goodbye to fingerprints to shed some weight and beef up durability. They've also got those curved edges that make for a comfy grip. Plus, the bezels around the display got slimmer, and what's really cool for me is that they're all symmetrical, which isn't the case with a lot of phones out there. It is raining right now, so if you can hear the rain, I can't do much about it. It actually kind of adds to the vibe and the aesthetic, I think. Nevertheless, there was some buzz about Apple going all in with haptic buttons instead of the physical ones we're used to. But guess what? It didn't happen. So it's rumored that Apple had some issues with these haptic buttons which simulate the press or the click, and instead we got the action button on the Pro models, which now you can program to do more than just mute your phone. You'll be able to mute, enter specific modes, as well as launch apps through the button. But I know that some folks are already nostalgic for the old mute switch. Now here's a real heartbreaker, the colors. Remember all the hype about fiery red Pro models and vibrant pink and blue vanilla iPhones? That was just wishful thinking. The actual color lineup is quite different from what we were dreaming about. Instead, we get these muted pink, yellow, and blue colors, which are far from eye-catching and from what we'd anticipated. Honestly, except the dark blue and the Pro model, I'm not a big fan of the color choices this year. What do you think? Do you also wish for more punchy and saturated colors, or are you a fan of these pastel muted ones? Lastly, let's talk chips. The Pro models are flaunting their new A17 Pro chip, while the vanilla ones got the previous year's A16 Bionic. Pro folks also get an extra 2 gigs of RAM, and the Pro Max stepped up its camera game with a 5 5x optical zoom camera lens to give those Samsungs and Xiaomis a run for their money. Now about prices. There was a lot of talk about a hefty increase, but it's not that straightforward. While it was claimed that both the Pro and Pro Max models were to be $100 more, the Pro starts at its usual $1,000 price point, while the Pro Max does start at $1,200, but that's for 256 gigs of storage. So the base model's price hasn't changed, but the entry-level storage got bumped up a bit for the Pro Max, so it is a tad pricier to get your foot in the door. That's been it for now. How do you feel about these new iPhones, and is it enough to get you excited and maybe buy one? Write your impressions down below. Bye.